So we're talking with Maria Kosztova, and it's very interesting that we have someone like Maria with us, because we've been talking in the past how we have blood types. We haven't talked about Maria's blood type, so I don't know what that is at the moment. We'll find out. But also the Gypsy element and also the Eastern European. And along with the Celtic and the Native American Indian, this seems to be a group with high psychic ability and also a high IQ level. And it's clear from Maria's information and her background that she certainly is a prime candidate. Now, again, a lot of Maria's experiences have been on the dream state and astral, and we'd say that that is just as valid as people saying that they have had waking conscious experiences, because this has added all to the information that's come through. And one of the very interesting elements that Maria mentioned was the dots, these red dots and the blue dots, which were representing genetic markers, representing genetic development that a couple of groups who are very interested in what's happening on planet Earth are monitoring. Now, it's clear that one of the groups, the ones with the red dots, it's not that their markers have not been activated yet, but perhaps their potentiality hasn't been measured yet, hasn't been able to, we don't have that data or information. But it is clear that the ones of the blue who have been activated, that's all, it seems to be, of the European side, some Asian and some of the African side, are clearly already moving, if you like, in the genetic direction that is being looked for. Now, I can only imagine from what I'm hearing about youngsters being born on the planet now who seem to have incredible abilities. Just this afternoon I was talking to a lady who is referencing her friend's tiny little grandson, who's only 2 years old, who is able to do some reading. He's able to have incredible interaction with his grandmother. He's able to rationalize and cognize to a degree that you would think would be a 12-year-old, whatever. And that's the same with his little sister. That's not unusual. There are people I'm hearing about from people in my circle who are having these youngsters, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, with these incredible IQs. I mean, they are outstripping their classes, and the schools don't really know what to do with them, don't know how to educate them. So this is really interesting, and this tells me that this is really moving, that whatever is happening for the development of humanity, there's a lot of great stuff. We're hearing a lot about the things that challenge us, and there are a lot of challenges to come yet. So those are some of my thoughts, and I'm really looking forward to this interview with Maria. Hello and welcome to another AMMACH interview. We've managed to get one in between the deluges and the downpours, and we're here with the lovely Maria Kosztova. And I'm not sure I'm saying that right, Maria, but perhaps you will put me right about that. Maria, tell us where you're from, because you have a lovely name with your lovely smile. Where are you from?
I am from Slovakia, from Bratislava.
Okay, and how long have you been in the UK?
I'm here for 4 years.
Okay. Are you studying?
I was studying before. I finished my bachelor's degree, but now I'm working as a childminder.
Okay. What did you do your degree in?
It's in biochemistry.
Oh, very interesting. Okay. So, Maria, the reason that we're talking to you, of course, is because you have had some interesting experiences yourself. And indeed, you came and joined us at Bodenham Manor for a get-together, a little chat. And we want we do these one-to-one so we can perhaps get a little bit more in-depth information about your background, your experience in terms of these anomalous events that have happened for you. Now, perhaps you can take us just from the beginning. What was your first conscious memory, if you've got a conscious memory, or tell us a little bit about that?
Well, my first conscious memory was when I was 4-year-old.
Okay.
I remember that there was in my room, there appeared, it looked like in the window, 3 people, 1 woman, an older man, and a young man, and they came to me and told me that they want to show me something. So they showed me quite disastrous pictures. Okay. About destroying the planet, how the planet is flooded, in the fire, the trees were falling down, and explosions were there as well.
So you're only 4 years old at this time, and where are they showing this to you, Maria? Is this within your room? Have they sort of created a sort of screen in front of you?
No,
or?
no, it was. I felt like they took me away
Okay.
from the window.
Yeah.
And I don't know where it was, but it was like real.
Yes.
It looked like in reality.
Yes.
Everything around.
3D experience.
And then they told me that I was born to stop the war, and I didn't understand the word war. So they showed me pictures. What does it mean? And it was so terrible to me that I asked them. So I don't want to know it. I want to forget it.
Okay, and these people, as you described, were they human-looking people?
Oh, they were human. There was a woman. She was over white skin, like Caucasians. The woman had curly brown hair. There was an older man. He had grey hair, like old people, and a young man, like black hair almost.
Okay, so and these were strangers to you at the time?
Yes.
Okay. So you've had this pretty disturbing image of the earth being devastated through flood and fire and what have you, and then so when you said stop, or I don't want to see those images anymore, what happened then? Do you remember?
Well, I don't remember exactly what happened, but I know that they showed me this picture about end of the earth, so to say, and then they told me that I was born to stop the war. I don't know how this is related to war, but that's what they told me. And when I didn't understand the World War, so they showed me the pictures of the war, which I don't remember. I just have an idea that there was some kind of.
And did they give you any kind of time frame involved with that? Were you made aware of any time?
No, I don't have time.
Okay. Well, if you're here to stop the war, I guess you'd have to be a little bit older than 4 to be doing that. So, and it's obviously going to be in your lifetime, one supposes. So, okay, so we're coming up the years from 4. So was that was your first major conscious wide awake experience? And how have things proceeded for you then, Maria?
Well, then I remember still till my 12. It was quite often there was I called him an angel. I called them also an angels, but they told me they're not angels. But I was afraid of them, and I told them, if you're not angels, I don't want to talk to you. So they told me that I can call them angels then. And I was afraid. I don't know what happened, but they warned me. I had a feeling that they warned me, and I asked for an angel. They want one angel for me. And they said that I can have one.
Is this like a guardian angel?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know whether everybody has, but I asked. I remember that I asked. So I had an angel. And he was coming to my room, and I felt like the moon is coming to my room. And then the angel appeared, and he took me out of the window somewhere.
Okay, and when you was talking about them, and you said that they didn't want you to call them angels, who were they? Did you know anything about them or what they looked like?
Well, they looked like people. Those were people.
So they looked like ordinary humans.
Yeah, they were humans.
Okay.
No difference, and I don't know who they were. I just wanted them to be angels.
Right. Okay. So they didn't look any different to humans as we know them today.
Yes.
Let's say, but they were able to take you up until from sort of 4 till 12 years old. Is that right? And you would go with them, or this guardian angel.
Yes.
Into the light? Would it be a ship? Would you? Is that? I mean, that's my
I don't know whether
words.
It was ship. I just know that I just remember the part till I went out of the window, and I know that he was showing me something. He was teaching me something.
Okay.
I don't know what it was. I just was excited at a new teaching.
Okay, that's lovely. So, did that happen very often between 4 and 12 years old?
Not so often, just seldomly.
All right. So, was anything else happening for you in any other way during those early years that would perhaps pertain to this field of the paranormal, the different, the UFO side of things, the interaction there?
Well, I think all my life was like that, as I am a gypsy, and my mother is gypsy, and she has been telling that my father is from the moon, from the another planet behind the sun.
So can I just clarify that? So your mother quite seriously was telling you that your biological father is this?
No. She said that she had. I have the physical father,
Yes.
which is normal father. But then when she was pregnant with me for 3 weeks, she was in a hospital with my sister, and she was pregnant with me, and she saw the man. She thought that he's a gypsy, but he could be even Oriental or so on. And he took her, and he took her somewhere. I don't know where. I think on spaceship. I'm not sure. He just took her somewhere, and he told her about the universe. My mother is not really high IQ, so it's very unlikely that she will know something about the universe. And she's telling things that people don't know, that there are two suns, that something about galaxy, that he's from the moon, from the from behind the sun, that there is second sun that we cannot see.
Okay, so he's from this moon, but not our moon,
No,
of
not
this
our
Earth.
moon.
Do we know where this moon, which star this moon is attached to, which planet?
No, she doesn't know which star. She can describe it very well, to be honest. But she said that it's that we have, that Earth has a twin Earth or so, and that he's from that there is a planet, and he's from the moon, from that planet. It's on the other side of the galaxy, which is behind the second sun or something like that.
Okay, so he was also teaching her then, telling her.
Yes.
And did he say anything to her about you?
They made some agreement, and he told her that I will not be her daughter.
Oh.
And she has been telling me that I am not her daughter, that I am his daughter, and only that body gave me this body, that her body gave me this body, but I am not her daughter.
Right.
So he made her to be clear that I don't belong to my mother, so to say, that he is my father.
Gosh, and how has your biological father responded to that? Is he aware of any of this?
I think he's not aware. I've never seen him. She's not in touch with him. I'm not in touch with him, which is good, because I had quite difficult times with this, as my mother has been claiming this. She's more, she's not actually very smart, to be honest. She's a very simple woman. She's not bad, but she's very simple. So she has been telling this to everybody, trying to tell people about this.
So this is very serious for her. I mean, this is not...
Well, it was serious for me.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yes.
It was difficult because people don't believe her. And well, as I wanted to say, that they had some agreement, and she said yes, she agreed, and they gave her power. And she knows that they gave her some power. She had some abilities. She had abilities like clairvoyant, and she... That's
clairvoyance. Yes, yeah, lovely.
She had ability to heal people.
Okay.
She has been even working with police. She really had. I need to say she had. But then something happened in her life, and she became to be more selfish, egoistic, to proclaim herself really higher than the others, and that only she has these abilities and nobody else. So, and then her abilities went down.
Yeah. Again, that's something that seems to be quite common with being gifted psychically to quite a high degree, that if the ego then begins to take over, it seems to dampen down those powers until they are almost in remission, is it, if we can say that about them. Okay, that's really interesting. So how did you manage over the years, and how was your relationship with your mum over the years, with her telling you, it sounds like quite strongly, that your father was from a moon from a very different place in the universe? Well,
I was always a little different, and comparing to my mother and my sister, I need to say that that's very possible. I rather believe that it is an alien, because my mother and my sister are not smart enough, and my way of thinking is very different. When I was small, I knew that my mother just don't understand. She doesn't understand me. She doesn't understand things. I was quite good in school. I could count high mathematical equations at the age that I couldn't. It wasn't even able to go to school. I was just 4 years old.
Right.
I was going to psychiatrist even. So
because of your high ability.
Yes, and they wanted even to put me to the school, to special schools for children that cannot study at all. So I haven't been allowed to go to school, but she has been allowed to somehow manage it, because I was in communism. So she has been allowed to somehow, she made it so I can go to normal school, but I wasn't supposed to be better than the others.
Okay.
I could even write with 2 hands.
Okay,
and they made me to write only with right hand and so on, so I couldn't be better than the others.
All right, so you're ambidextrous as well.
I don't know.
Well, that is that too faculty, that too, it's ambidextrous. So that again, that's very interesting, because you're not the first person again who has that faculty or ability, who's had experiences too. So it seems to me that this elevated set of abilities goes with the territory. So if we go back now, so you're 12. Did something particularly happen when you were 12 then? Because you sort of mentioned from 4 to 12 that these sort of experiences, these teaching experiences, it seems, or learning experiences were going on, whether you remembered it all or not. So
well, I
take
don't
us
know
on.
What happened, but something happened in my mother's life, and she wanted to make a suicide, and that what drives me really crazy. I kind of couldn't take it.
Yes, of course.
So I didn't like her at that point. I was angry at her because I saw
that's very
that
tough.
She didn't want to. She didn't like us, me and my sister. So it was difficult for me and my sister. And but the thing is that she couldn't get this ability anymore. I don't know what exactly happened, but that was the reason. But just before this, there was a thing that it was on Easter. I have been choking with an orange, and I almost died. But while I was died, I saw myself. I stepped out of the body, and I just saw them how they are shouting and trying to help me.
So this is them. You're really seriously choking and nearly dying on a piece of orange, and your mother and your sister are there with you. Are they?
Yeah.
So you're lying on the floor, and
no, I was still. I was sitting on.
I beg your pardon.
It was my washing machine. So I was in the washing machine. So
My goodness.
They were around me trying to help me, and I was away of my body. I was out of my body, and I was watching them, and I decided, okay, I'm here, I'm fine, but I'm leaving. And there was my father.
Did you recognize him?
Yeah, I knew that he's my father. He just came for me, and we went somewhere. I just have a feeling that I was there quite long, and then I decided to come back, and again I was there, and I looked back, where is my father, and I said, okay, yes, I will do it, whatever it was, and he said, okay. So I went back to my body, I put my hand into my neck, took out the orange, that's it. And my mother was very angry. She said, oh, that was them. And she again started to talk about aliens and about them, that they made an agreement with her that if she will stop, if she will go between me and them, then they will take her power away. And she was, because they told me, and they was telling me about the war, that I should stop the war. And I was telling this about my mother. I was about.
Oh right. So do you think then your mother was perhaps trying to interfere in whatever your mission is?
I don't know why she was like that, because normally she wasn't against alien and against this idea, but then she was egoistic, and she said that she is supposed to do that. She's the one who wants to help save the world and so on. But then I told her that they told me about the war, and I still haven't any idea about the war.
Right.
And I think even it's not the war as we think it is.
Right.
And she said that I should tell them no, because they are bad. And,
Well, the aliens were bad. Your connections there were bad.
And I got scared, because she scared me. She has scared me quite long. And then when they turn again, then I told them I don't want to see them again, that I don't want to have anything to do with war, so they should go away. So then they said, okay, we will come again when you will be ready. So this is now. Is this, you're around 12? Is this correct? You're about 12. So you've effectively closed the door for the moment on whatever your mission is. This saving everyone from the war.
so you're having some time out or whatever. So how many years passed before your next experience?
That was actually just lately when I was 27, which is last year it started again.
Okay, so from 12 to 27 you've had nothing that you remember apart from, perhaps you were talking about dreams before, I know.
Yeah. I had some dreams, but I never related it to aliens.
Right.
I thought it was just something what I saw in movie or so.
Right, okay. So then, Maria, tell us what's been happening then since you're 27.
Where shall I start? How we start again?
Yeah.
It was again that I realized that I don't feel good in this world. That there is nothing I want from this world. I try. I actually cannot even talk to people. I'm just kind of don't much into this world. So
yes, don't fit in.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people feel like that, especially experiences. And myself and Miles, I think we could almost say the same thing. We don't fit into the general thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just summarized all the ideas and I said, okay, I'm gonna leave. I didn't want to leave anymore. And then I was thinking how I'm gonna die. And then I heard a voice that wait 1 year. And I was like, oh, well, what's coming in? Well, why I should wait 1 year? And then I wanted to find it out. So I tried to put in the internet 2012. Well, what will happen? Maybe I will find something. And I find a new world for me. I found about government and so on, about aliens, and that made me really happy that they exist, because I couldn't believe that aliens don't exist and that just people are in the world and nobody else, or just aliens must look like people. I don't believe in this. And this is the way how it starts for me, and I was very glad that I found out that aliens really exist and so on. So have you had since you've had this done this research then and felt more comfortable in yourself, so you're happier to be living? Is that right? No,
not really.
I was just happy that we're not alone.
Okay.
Because I always kind of knew that we are not alone, and also the anti-gravity, it just doesn't make sense to me. A lot of physics here doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, you mentioned their anti-gravity, and I know you were talking before that you've got a great interest in the invention side of things and anti-gravity.
Yeah, because I always dreamed to fly in the universe, but I told myself I'm not gonna fly if there is no gravity in the spacecraft. That's very silly to send somebody into the rocket and not having a gravity. That's weird to me. So and I just knew that must be lie, and I knew, okay, whatever I thought before, it's true, and what I have been taught in school, it cannot be true now. I was sure that what I thought, it's true. What I was learned in school is not true. And then I had this experience with Zeta Gray. He appeared in my room. I had out-of-body experience. That was quite funny. I didn't do anything.
Was this just recently again? Was this in the last?
No, that was in the beginning last year.
Okay, so yes, just recently.
Started for me.
Yeah.
I just had this one, and I didn't have any other out of body.
Okay.
I know. I think they made it, and then I get this answer in my head.
So the grey appeared in your room.
Yeah.
And then you at the same time, did you have an out of body experience? Were you aware? How did that work?
It appeared when I just come back. I think I'm not exactly sure, but I think it wasn't in the beginning. It was in the end.
Right. And so, do you remember what event that was? I mean, was there something else going on, or?
Oh, there was nothing. There was just first day when I discovered this idea about aliens.
Yeah.
So it was the first day, and in the night it happened. I didn't even know how it happened.
Right.
I just thought that I was lying in my bag, and I just sit down, and I saw my body there, and my body wasn't on my back, but it was on my belly. It was weird because I don't remember to lie on my belly. But I had like a feeling in my forehead and back of my head, and when I opened my eyes I couldn't see. When I closed my eyes I could see. So I was shaking my head, and I thought it's okay. And then I sit down, like what happened, and I was out.
Okay. So then the grey appears?
No, he appeared in the end when I just before I opened my eyes, when I come back into my body, and I saw him there.
And was there any communication? No, just a visual. Okay, so what happened from then on? So this last year, then?
Well, then I heard terrible things. I listened to terrible things on the internet. I couldn't believe it, because I think that aliens are good, or at least for me. And I heard voices. I started having dreams.
And do you mean when you said you heard voices? Are you talking about like in a telepathic manner? Telepathic way?
Like in my head. Sometimes I see picture of that alien who is talking to me.
Okay.
I heard answers whenever I ask something. I have answer.
So as if they're now linking with you in this way, then.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But you were saying about some of the not so good things that were coming through. So was that from another party?
Was from the internet.
Okay. So that's just from the external.
From the
from the internet. Okay. So how did that impact you then? So you've now got this sort of renewed awareness of the ET issue. That's a reality for you now, and that at least makes you feel better about things. So how does this impact you now with perhaps your being here to stop this war? Is there any more?
Well, I don't have much information about it, and I don't think that I'm the only one. I think there must be a lot of people that are here to do that. I think
perhaps one of a team.
Yeah, I think the war is not the way as we think it is. No guns, nothing like that. I think the war is just to awaken to this reality. That's the war, and not to stop in this. To
raise the consciousness. Would you say?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, to wake people up to the fact that there is a different kind of a world.
Yes.
Okay, and is there anything else from your experiences, Maria, that have to do with perhaps these other worlds, like where your father, your ET father, is from, compared to now? You know, is there something with your relationship with him that's important at this point?
Well, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, okay.
To be honest, I had just a few dreams. I remember visions, and I remember some knowing and meanings. What was there, but I don't remember everything. Yeah, looks like that. I still in my head have informations that I still don't want to see the truth. I'm still afraid, and I still don't want to know everything, that it's me who...
I think that's normal anyway, yeah. And I know we spoke a little bit about this before, Maria, but in this interview perhaps we could just mention it again. You were talking at one time about you, and I can't remember if you referred to them as dreams now, where you were clearly one of a team making decisions about Earth, about the progression of humanity, perhaps biologically as well as spiritually or consciously, I'm not sure. And and it was to do with the gene mechanics of that, perhaps DNA manipulation or development.
Yeah, it was in the dream, but this dream was very, very real. I woke up and I heard still the noise. There was a woman, and well, this dream, what I remember, started that I was sitting on the table. There was a grey, but it was a robot, I would say, robot talking to me. And then I heard a voice, but it's a noise, screaming. There was a woman shouting, and I stand up and went to look at her, what's happening. And she was just standing in front of me inside the room, but just before the door. There was no door, but it was doorway, so to say. There was a table and two tall blue greys. And I looked at him and at one of them, and I asked, like, what's happening? And he didn't answer. He just waited, like I should know that they didn't do anything wrong. And she was screaming, holding her hand on her face. She was really screaming like somebody killed her, but nobody even touched her. And I was in that dream, I was in a position that I know the aliens, and I don't know people that well. So I was looking at people, at humans, from the alien point of view, which was weird to me, which I kept this feeling when I woke up. and then that woman just shortly looked at me and back, and still she was staring at that tall blue grace. And I thought that, oh, she doesn't even know that I am human.
Right.
Which was again the weird thing in that dream. And then the one Zeta Grey came and holding in injections, and I knew that he came here to calm her down. So I went back to the previous guy and continued discussion.
Okay. So you don't know what that relationship was to do about with the woman? Excuse me, my throat's gone.
Relationship.
With what was happening with the lady there?
Oh, I think they just wanted to talk to her.
Oh, right.
They just want to talk to people, but I think she wasn't ready for alien presence yet, so I asked them to send her back.
So can you tell us a little bit, Maria, about the excuse me, the DNA issue?
Yeah.
Because I know that you said something about there being a blue and a red zone, and something to do with some genes being switched on, and that. Can you just explain that to us?
Yeah, later on when that woman left, because it was in that dream, there was like two screens at one time. I don't understand this, but once I was aware what's happening, and they show me the map, and I said, okay, this needs to be doubled. And then the next time they were showing me the map, and I didn't know what's happening, what's going on, and there was the map. There was an American continent, North and South America, and the rest of the globe, like Europe and Asia and Africa.
Okay.
And they were actually the North and South America was full of red dots, and on the Europe and Asia and Little Africa there was blue dots, and they explained me that they want to have it all the blue, and I asked why, what is it, and they told me that they are giving some genes into people, and they are even giving some tracking device which is smaller than the cell, that is tracking some amino acid. They're tracking this amino acid. That means if person has this amino acid, they see it on there. It was interactive map.
Wow.
The dots were moving actually. So when this person has activating this gene, it releases this amino acid, and the tracking device knows it when it releases, and
that's pretty
it appears
amazing.
as a blue dot.
And do we know what effect this gene has on the human?
I don't know what effect. Maybe they told me, but I don't remember this part from the dream.
And it's quite interesting as well, you having a biochemical
I have
degree.
I have.
So that's very interesting, and maybe
was interesting in life, where life is coming from, actually.
Yeah. So in the all blue and the all red sectors, were there any mixes of blue and reds, or was all one and all?
It was all one.
Oh wow!
The Europe and Asia and Little Africa, there was all blue, but it was not enough, and the red dots were on American continent.
I find that really intriguing, because then, if what you're saying is correct and is real, it sounds like there's been an activation then in some of the genes, or all of the genes, in the Western, Europe and some parts of Africa, did you say?
Yes.
And some parts of Asia? Would that include Russia's as well? Because we include, Okay, that's really intriguing. And then still in the North and South Americas,
well, they were red, but the thing is that they are somehow divided, and this group that I am working with, because I had feeling that I am working with them, they have this part of the globe, Europe, Asia and Little Africa, and the other group has the American continent. They're divided.
So like two groups of geneticists perhaps working with humanity divided into two groups, and the blues. I mean, so are we waiting then for the Americas to become blues? Do you think?
No, I don't think so.
No,
we are waiting for them.
Okay.
Just the data haven't been on that map. So somebody else is having data of North and South America. But so to say, if I can say that I'm working with them, then we don't have this data. We are having our data. We take care of our business, and then we take it to somebody else, and somebody else is evaluating this.
Right. So I'm a little bit confused then. So the blue and the red simply, it doesn't mean anything. Well, so the blue means that there has been some kind of release of an amino acid to do with some slightly genetic manipulation, changes, whatever, and we don't know what the impact of that is that right?
Yes.
And the red sector, they have the potentiality, or we don't know that they could be blue, but we just don't know it yet.
Well, they are tracked already. They're
tracked.
So they have these changes, but they didn't activate these genes probably. But the thing is that the map was like, they don't care about this part. That was the idea.
Oh, okay. So they're concentrating on the Europe.
That's
European
not
side.
up to us. Whatever is there, it's not up to us.
When you say not up to us, what does that mean? Is it's not of interest to?
No, it is, but not our group that I'm working with.
Okay.
So somebody else has responsibility for American continent.
Okay, and would it be that they're on the same kind of program or development?
Yes, definitely. They are. We are like, I would say like there are at least two groups, and we are working here, and they're working in American continent, and then we are gathering the data. But the map they showed me, there were just red dots, and maybe. So
they've only evaluated the European side yet?
Yeah.
So that's been evaluated. We're still waiting for the evaluation on the red dot side.
That's what I would say exactly.
Okay, all righty. And are you aware in your dreams of any progress? I guess I'm wanting to say any other development of this research.
No, was still the gene.
That's curious. Yeah, very interesting. And is there anything else from your sort of skill area on the biochemical front that has that you've been made aware of? Is there any other information that's come from your awareness? No. Oh, that's really interesting. Okay, so Maria, I don't know whether there's anything else you'd like to share with us at this point about your experiences or any other information you think it would be interesting for other people to hear, because you're only young, you're only 27 or 28 or whatever, so and you've had your very early experiences as well. Again, you said, I understand that perhaps your family haven't had the same experiences that you have or are not open to them. But do you have other family around you that have had any experiences, or, because often family groups as a whole tend to be involved in these different levels of interaction with ETs?
Yes, my sister's children has been
your sister's children?
By aliens. One was by green grays, and the other one was by humans, visited by humans. They both offered them to stay with them, but they both decided to stay here.
Oh, right. And how old were the children at the time?
My niece is 6 years old, and nephew is 11 years old.
Oh, so both of these ET parties asked if the children would like to go and stay with them on wherever they live. Yeah. Oh, wow. Maybe when they're older, eh?
Maybe, yeah. I think they still don't know what is in here.
Yeah. and so when they told their mum, what was her reaction?
No, they didn't tell it to my sister. They told it to my mother, because she's more in this area, more about aliens. She's more accepting. My sister is not.
Right. Okay.
So
were you surprised?
No, I wasn't surprised. Okay. I was happy that they met their families. I think their families came to them.
Okay. That's really interesting. Yeah. That's lovely. Well, thank you very much for sharing. Is there anything else you'd like to?
Well, I would like to say about my dreams, about the future dreams, what I had.
Yeah,
it was very symbolical, but I will just say the meaning of the dream. That there was a first part of the dream, and it was more telling me that I am not doing anything, that I'm not acting, and the people doesn't know the things, doesn't know about this government, about technology. And in that dream there was military personnel. He got some plant from these gummy people, which is grace, tall
So you're
grey.
calling the greys the gummy people?
Yeah, I call them when
who
I
had a
was
plant
small.
that the
Yeah.
that the military guy gave to the scientist.
Yeah, he gave it to scientists, this plant, because the military personnel, he get this plant from this grey. He wanted him to extract some kind of chemical from this plant. But this military personnel, he didn't know what is that plant and what for he needs that extraction. So he gave it to scientists and he gave them order to find out what is it. And they find out that this plant makes you somehow not to die, that you live forever. And that they wanted to for people. And in the dream, I didn't do anything and I died. And then I was born again on the earth where people never died. So what I think this dream was very symbolical, and they maybe already get, maybe they will just get this plant, and they want to make people to never die.
And was the earth, when you came back to it, in a good state?
No, it was after disaster, I would say. The planet didn't turn around. There was no sun, no day and night. It was all the time just night. The people were in terrible condition. They didn't have technology. They remember these days that means that they have been, so to say, from this time, still living through to that time, which was, to me, it looked like even 1,000 later.
1,000 years.
Yeah, 1,000 years
Yeah.
later. Yeah.
So these people were living, were immortal on a devastated planet with no resources and no.
Well, there was not no resources.
Yeah,
there
but
were some resources, but they are not even able to die. People are dying very seldomly. They're suffering, but they cannot
That must
die.
be horrendous.
Yeah, they didn't have even houses. They had just houses from what was left.
So this must have been a global thing, of course. If the Earth's not turning on its axis, there's no no seasons, no light. Was there any other activity on the planet? Were there ETs on the planet,
yes.
as you saw? Or?
There was the moon. The moon wasn't shiny. It was like a rock.
Right, just a rock.
And there were people, like, I would say, like, it looked to me like FBI agents, but I was
FBI
a
agents,
military. So they came in the spaceship. The spaceship was black, and they came down from the spaceship, and they were picking up some people, mainly children, and took them to the moon, and they were doing some genetical experiments on the people.
My goodness! And so then in this remembrance, this dream, you were reincarnated. So obviously you were not one of the immortal ones. Then you had reincarnated. For what purpose were you there to? Tell me what you were.
Well, I think this was just symbolical again, just to tell me to do something and to stop this happening. And in the dream, I had this dream several times till I understand what the dream was supposed to tell me. And in the end, I just called my angel, because my angel was bringing me to the dream and showing me things. And I asked him, what do you want me to do? Why are you telling me these dreams? Why are you showing me these dreams again and again? And he said, you don't understand? You're here to stop this happening. If you don't stop it, you will born here and you will stay here till you don't do something.
Okay, so you were. So that sounds to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you were in the future. You were seeing yourself born in the future, and you're here and now in this current life to stop that happening.
Yes.
Ooh. Goodness.
Yes.
Wow. We better get our fingers out and get doing what we're supposed to be doing.
I don't want to be born there.
No, I definitely don't want to be living forever in a place like that. My goodness. So do you know what you have to do to stop that happening?
Well, the idea in that dream was that I'm supposed to bring some technology, that I know it, even though I don't know it. But in the dream it was like, I know it, that I'm supposed to find some people that we are supposed to raise against these people, which are not actually even people. And even though if they are using other humans we are supposed to raise against them and start doing something. We
So
have to go to war, so to say.
Okay, so you say a raise against them. Against what? Do you mean the regime that is keeping the people down?
No, it's actually they are not even aliens. They are interdimensional beings. They hate humans.
Okay.
And in the dream, there was even the idea that I have been living before and fighting with these beings. Before.
With these interdimensionals?
Yes. So we are supposed to raise against them, and even though they are humans, they might not be humans, or they might just use humans, but we have to do something about it.
So from that, then I'm picking up that some of these interdimensionals may be perhaps, I don't know, would you call it overshadowing or even incarnating as humans? You know,
no. I mean, these gummy people, these greys.
The gummy people. Sweet, I like that. The gummy ones. Go on.
Yeah, so we need to raise against them, and they are using real humans, but...
Yes, I think that's what I was perhaps meaning. Perhaps they're not reincarnated, but they're using them to...
Yeah, they're using real humans, but we need to raise against those as well.
Okay.
We need to save the humanity and do something.
Do you know these other interdimensionals by a name? Do they have a race? Are they known in any of our histories, or...?
Oh, I don't have any.
No, you don't know. No, that's fine. It's just that there's a lot of things, and interdimensionals are again, they feature quite prominently in the war on consciousness for humanity.
I want to say that this was actually to be known. So it was the guy which was on the crop circle. You're talking about the very famous. Was it the Chilbolton one? Miles, I can't remember. What was the
big spiral one?
No, the very famous one with the ET face. Is that what you mean with the disc, the ASCII disc?
Yeah.
ASCII
so it was
code.
This guy. They are very tall. They look like they don't have bones, and they're not even actually. To me, they don't look like grey. They more like brownish grey. But I want to as well say that even though there are greys with those big eyes, whatever that type of beings, they might not be actually greys. They may be humanoid or humans actually. So not all of them are.
Right. So the hybrids, would you say?
No. If you see some greys, it doesn't necessarily mean that he is a bad guy.
No. Okay, of course.
Because there are tall blue greys, which are very good people. They are humans. They don't like if you call them that they are aliens. They are humans.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's very interesting, Maria. So you've got your work cut out for you then. So,
we'll see.
So I think you've got to find your team then and get this machine. Do you know what this machine might be? This technology, or perhaps the machine is the wrong word. Technology.
It's more the technology. Like we have to build up our own spaceship. The thing is that they know which is there, but not only build up the spaceships, but we need to gather together, live together, and act like we are family, not like we are strangers. And, you know.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, that's really fascinating. So, Maria, we're going to continue our discussion, but we're going to bring in one or two other experiences. We're going to bring in Marie Kayali and Jeff Scott and Jean MacDonald to come and have a little bit of a discussion. But for the moment, thank you very much. That's been really intriguing and very interesting. And please keep us informed when you get more information about the technology and what we have to do and how best we can deal with these interdimensionals. I'm sure there are some tools and skills and perhaps methods that we need to become educated about so we can fight the good fight and save humanity. Why not?
Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Thanks. Okay, we'll have a short break now and we'll be back in a minute. He's able to have incredible interaction with his grandmother. He's able to rationalize and cognize to a degree that you would think would be a 12-year-old, whatever. And that's the same with his little sister. That's not unusual. There are people I'm hearing about from people in my circle who are having these youngsters, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, with these incredible IQs. I mean, they are outstripping their classes, and the schools don't really know what to do with them, don't know how to educate them. So this is really interesting, and this tells me that this is really moving, that whatever is happening for the development of humanity, there's a lot of great stuff. We're hearing a lot about the things that challenge us, and there are a lot of challenges to come yet. So those are some of my thoughts, and I'm really looking forward to this interview with Maria. Hello and welcome to another AMMACH interview. We've managed to get one in between the deluges and the downpours, and we're here with the lovely Maria Goshchova. And I'm not sure I'm saying that right, Maria, but perhaps you will put me right about that. Maria, tell us where you're from, because you have a lovely name with your lovely smile. Where are you from?
I am from Slovakia, from Bratislava.
Okay, and how long have you been in the UK?
I'm here for 4 years.
Okay, are you studying?
I was studying before. I finished my bachelor's degree, but now I'm working as a childminder.
Okay,
what took me away from the window.
Yeah.
And I don't know where it was, but it was like real.
Yes.
It looked like in reality, everything around.
3D experience.
And then they told me that I was born to stop the war, and I didn't understand the word war. So they showed me pictures, what does it mean, and it was so terrible to me that I asked them, so I don't want to know it, I want to forget it.
Okay, and these people, as you described, were they human-looking people?
Oh, they were human. There was a woman, she was over white skin, like Caucasians. The woman had curly brown hair. There was an older man, he had grey hair like old people, and a young man, like black hair almost.
Okay, so and these were strangers to you at the time?
Yes.
Okay, so you've had this pretty disturbing image of the earth being devastated through flood and fire and what have you, and then so when you said stop, or I don't want to see those images anymore, what happened then? Do you remember?
Well, I don't remember exactly what happened, but I know that they showed me this picture about end of the earth, so to say, and then they told me that I was born to stop the war. I don't know how this is related to war, but that's what they told me.
Level, and it's clear from Maria's information and her background that she certainly is a prime candidate. Now, again, a lot of Maria's experiences have been on the dream state and astral, and we'd say that that is just as valid as people saying that they have had waking conscious experiences, because this has added all to the information that's come through. And one of the very interesting elements that Maria mentioned was the dots, these red dots and the blue dots, which were representing genetic markers, representing genetic development that a couple of groups who are very interested in what's happening on planet Earth are monitoring. Now, it's clear that one of the groups, the ones with the red dots, it's not that their markers have not been activated yet, but perhaps their potentiality hasn't been measured yet, hasn't been able to, we don't have that data or information. But it is clear that the ones of the blue who have been activated, that's all, it seems to be of the European side, some Asian and some of the African side, are clearly already moving, if you like, in the genetic direction that is being looked for. Now, I can only imagine from what I'm hearing about youngsters being born on the planet now who seem to have incredible abilities. Just this afternoon I was talking to a lady who is referencing her friend's tiny little grandson, who's only 2 years old, who was able to do some reading. So we're talking with Maria Kosztova, and it's very interesting that we have someone like Maria with us because we've been talking in the past how we have blood types. We haven't talked about Maria's blood type, so I don't know what that is at the moment. We'll find out. But also the Gypsy element and also the Eastern European. And along with the Celtic and the Native American Indian, this seems to be a group with high psychic ability and also a high IQ. Did you do your degree in?
It's in biochemistry.
Oh, very interesting. Okay. So, Maria, the reason that we're talking to you, of course, is because you have had some interesting experiences yourself. And indeed, you came and joined us at Bodenham Manor for a get-together, a little chat. And we want we do these one-to-one so we can perhaps get a little bit more in-depth information about your background, your experience in terms of these anomalous events that have happened for you. Now, perhaps you can take us just from the beginning. What was your first conscious memory, if you've got a conscious memory, or tell us a little bit about that state?
My first conscious memory was when I was 4-year-old.
Okay.
I remember that there was in my room, there appeared, it looked like in the window, 3 people, one woman, an older man, and a young man, and they came to me and told me that they want to show me something. So they showed me quite disastrous pictures about destroying the planet, how the planet is flooded, in the fire, the trees were falling down, and explosions were there as well.
So you're only 4 years old at this time, and where are they showing this to you, Maria? Is this within your room? Have they sort of created a sort of screen in front of you?
No, it was. I felt like they